ourselves that our Constitution provides clear guidance on a number of elements relating to electoral democracy. These include, first, in Chapter 1, Section 1 of the founding provisions, provides for South Africa a system of universal adult suffrage, a national common voters' roll, regular elections, and multi-party system of government to ensure accountability, responsiveness, and openness. Second, under Section 19, dealing with political rights, our Constitution provides that every citizen has the right to free, fair, and regular elections for any legislative body established in terms of the Constitution. Thirdly, the Constitution in Section 159 is also clear on a limitation of 5 years for the term of office, municipal councils, and provides for a new election to be held within 90 days of the expiry of that term. And finally, the Constitution in Chapter 9 establishes and mandates the Electoral Commission to manage those elections and ensure they are free and fair. Over the past 27 years, since our first democratic elections, we've seen our democracy mature and thrive through 6 national and provincial elections and 4 local government elections. But today, as we prepare for our 5th local government elections, our democracy, and indeed all democracies,
the pandemic has affected almost every country, every person, every aspect of our lives over the past 16 months. Electoral democracy has not been spared. Almost 80 countries and territories have postponed elections over the past 18 months due to concerns over the pandemic, while a further 118 countries opted to proceed with elections. The responses of democracies around the world show that there is no right or wrong approach to this quandary, nor can any decision be made in isolation from the particular circumstances and conditions prevalent within that country. While our Constitution is silent on how exactly we should deal with such unforeseen circumstances, it does provide overall guidance that all elections must be free and fair. And as such, the key consideration cannot only be whether the elections meet the timing prescripts, but also whether they meet the prescripts of freeness and fairness. Section 114.4 of the Electoral Commission Act 1996 provides a possibility wherein the Commission may publish a report on the likelihood or otherwise that it will be able to ensure any pending elections will be free and fair. When I was called upon by the Electoral Commission to take up this extraordinary assignment, I could not ignore the importance of this undertaking within the context of our ongoing journey to entrench and strengthen democracy in our country. This is the first time in the history of our nascent democracy that we have faced such extraordinary circumstances. How we respond to these as a country will have far-reaching consequences for our democracy and for our people. As one of the drafters of our interim constitution and as one of the founder members of the Independent Electoral Commission in 1994, I'm honored to accept this project of national significance. I'm cognizant of the very short time frames available due to the pressures exerted by the time frame provided by the Constitution and electoral laws to conduct the local government elections. For this reason, we must conduct a rapid but robust process to consider and assess all factors which may affect or influence the freeness and fairness of the upcoming elections. To this end, it is my intention by the 24th of May to establish an office to facilitate this process. This office will reach out to key stakeholders within the electoral sphere to urgently submit reports on their views regarding the various factors. And these include political parties, health authorities and experts, disaster management authorities, other electoral stakeholders. Details regarding the program of work and contact information for this office will be published early next week. I would like to thank the Commission for its faith in me to provide a report to assist it and other key decision makers in the electoral process to make decisions which were well informed, well considered as they navigate these uncertain and challenging times. Again, thank you, Chairperson and the Commission, and thank you all.
Thank you very much, Senator. At this point in time, I'm going to open the floor to our journalists that are joining us, both in the room and virtually, to ask any questions that you may wish to ask. When you do, please tell us your name and the media house from which you are from. Please present.
Hi, my name is Umbali. I'm from New in Africa. I just want to find out, when you were planning to have these elections in October, what prompted you to now come to this decision to actually have a review process of the elections? I know that a number of political parties, like you said the last time, that really they were completely divided as to whether the elections should be postponed or not. What prompted you to come to this decision to have divided as to whether the elections should be postponed or not? What prompted you to come to this decision to have this review process?
Thank you very much, Mali. Is there any other hand?
No.
I think, as we've indicated as a commission, is that the work that we are doing is continuous. The plans remain, but we are taking an additional step to actually look into the issues that were brought forward by the political parties as our key stakeholders, to say they have the following concerns. So as the Commission, this is just an ongoing process in looking into the situation. As we have indicated, this is our planned date. We should be in a position to deliver the elections. We still stand by that. However, we are taking this extra step and extra measure so that we can apply ourselves to the concerns that were raised. But most importantly, ultimately, we want to make sure that this election is optimally fortified.
Ultimately, we want to make sure that this election is optimally fortified.
Yes, please, ma'am.
So, Mr. Nashini, sorry, my name is
I do not see any other hand. Yes, please, ma'am.
So, Mr. Nashini, was what you just said. Sorry, my name is Natasha from SABC. But what you just said that the Commission is still in a position to deliver elections. I spoke to Nadesha Buri on Monday, and she had said, and this is on record from the Commission's side, if the COVID numbers actually come to a point where they're actually uncontrollable, then the IEC's hand will be forced to somewhat postpone the elections. Do your sentiments still stand as what Mr. Shibri
actually said? The situation remains under examination by not only us as the Electoral Commission, but the authorities that are specialists on the subject matter, the Department of Health and the department responsible for disaster management. So we are working alongside that. Anytime a situation, if it came to a point that it cannot be held, that can still be taken forward. This is synonymous to a soccer game. Whether the game can proceed because there's a rain or not. There's a certain threshold that will come based on expert knowledge. But as matters stand, we as the Commission, we say the game goes on. In theater, we say the show goes on until we've reached that particular point where experts are coming, clearly are indicating to us objectively that the circumstances are not conducive. Therefore, we ask for the expertise of Justice Musnege precisely for that particular reason, so that we leave no stone unturned as the Commission in making sure that we have applied ourselves optimally. And on the other side also, we have not acted recklessly, because this is the balancing of very critical considerations. The Constitution is an important document that is that the country has to adhere to, and we are the creatures of the Constitution as the electoral management body. And that's what we're supposed to discharge our responsibility in as far as adhering to the Constitution. But we cannot be oblivious to any issue and circumstances that may indicate otherwise. And we still have time between now and the date of proclamation that we can make a call. And even on the eve of the election, if the situation turned around and the circumstances that prevailed before us, we will then be in a position to make a call. But as matters stand, we are saying as the Commission, no, we should be, technically and otherwise, we are ready as we ought to under our responsibility to deliver this election. Anything else that we can say outside of that, it would be a serious derelict of duty.
Thank you. Mbali, I'm back to you.
It would be a serious derelict.
The last time we were here, you were consulted with the
Mbali, I'm back to you.
I just wanted to ask, the last time we were here, we consulted with political parties just before you made the announcement of the elections being held on the 27th of October. I want to find out now, have you consulted the whole political parties once more when you're looking into this review process? What have they said in response to this direction in which the IEC is taking? Something else I also want to ask, when you look at the Constitution, you've always said that it's quite clear that we need to hold elections regardless. What is, when you look at the Constitution, is there provision for the country to, of course, have these local government elections much later? What is the likely process that we could follow should we get to that position and we hold those elections and they become postponed? And, one would also ask, when you are having this review process, are you avoiding any legal action should political parties say that these elections were not free and fair because we could not hold our rallies, we could not do door-to-door campaigns because of the pandemic?
Thank you very much, Mbali. I am going to allow the chairperson,
Mr. Shiburi, to just clarify the steps that relate to in the event the circumstances are otherwise. What then do we need to trigger to postpone the elections? But before he does that, the Commission is indicating that this is part of our consultative activity that we did engage with the political parties, and we also indicated to them that we will be putting forward a process that will take further an opportunity for them to make submissions about the issues that they raise as concerns, so that they can be factored in the review, including the submissions that our administration will be putting also to this process, to make sure that everything is reviewed and looked into. And so as such, from where we are sitting, that this is a continuity of that particular process. But allow me to invite Mr. Shiburi to quickly indicate the process for us. Mr. Shiburi, please. No, just this.
Thank you, Chair. I think at the outset, let's state the obvious, and that is the Commission on its own has no authority to vary the date of an election beyond the 90 days prescribed in the law and in the Constitution. What the Commission has said consistently is that the law and the Constitution also do not impose a duty on it to perform in circumstances of objective impossibility. If objectively it is established that elections may not proceed because of the rate of infections and the uncontrollable spike in COVID-19 cases, the Commission may then, on those circumstances, be in a position to approach the Constitutional Court to do the following. First, to ask for direct access, because the Apex Court is loath to consider constitutional matters as a court of first and last instance. Secondly, the Commission must demonstrate to the court the circumstances that leads to the impossibility, and those may not include failure on the part of the Commission to stand ready within the constitutionally determined time frames. Beyond that, the Commission must also submit a timetable to the court that indicates when it is able to hold election, and that period cannot be far removed from the 90-day term of within which the election must be held. In short, it is not up to the Commission to decide whether it wishes to proceed or it doesn't wish to proceed with the election. Its actions are constrained by the law and the Constitution.
Thank you very much.
Questions with political parties? Have you consulted with them?
Somebody come back to me. Raise your voice, please.
Sorry.
Thank you very much.
My last question with political parties, whether they have consulted.
Somebody come back to me.
Raise your voice, please.
Sorry, one question that I asked earlier about-
No, as I was saying, Mbali, this is the process that started on the 22nd of April, where we met as the Commission. Continuously, we have consultation with political parties through the office of the CEO. But on the 22nd, there was a special commission meeting where now the Commission met with the leaders of the political parties. They made their submissions. In those discussions, we indicated that we will revert back to them, and we have indicated to them that no, we will be announcing a process now to genuinely take their concerns and put them into the review process that we're talking about.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just maybe in terms of the 19 or just any other officials, your feelings as officials, I mean, this was pretty in terms of Mr. Mashini or just any other of the officials, your feelings as officials, I mean, this is the first time this has happened in the history of the Commission since the dawn of democracy. Like Justice Mseneke said.
We're feeling confident and we're feeling very much on top of the situation. In fact, I think we are in our top element as the Commission. The commissioners are here. There's a unanimity on the issue, on the process that we are taking. And this process is not questioning our technical readiness. As far as technical readiness, the Commission is ready. We can deliver the election. It is this unknown, invisible enemy of that is the pandemic, that no one can actually with certainty say how it's going to behave. And we as a Commission were saying we cannot act in a way or in a manner that does not take that seriously. And so we are putting this process because of the seriousness of it. And I think we are very much appreciative that Justice Mseneke, in his busy schedule with many other important things that he's doing, not only in our country, also internationally, he could actually accommodate our request to say, your baby needs a little bit of attention. As I said, he is the midwife of our democracy. So we've brought the baby to him to say, are you in a position to to look into this particular issue? And we believe that he brings the gravitas to the subject matter that will balance concerns for everybody to be in a position to say, yes, there were concerns, but as a nation and as a country, these are extraordinary times that call upon us to actually forge together on non-partisan basis and as one nation to say, how do we make sure that we don't trip on our national project, which is the endurance of our democracy intact. But at the same time, human lives are involved. Maybe I may take the opportunity to invite any of my colleagues if they would like to make any comment, so that I'm not only speaking for them, they can answer. Commissioner Niepa, Commissioner Love?
If you can just give me a moment, Chairperson. I think I have questions from coming from our virtual audience.
Yes, we do.
Please, your name.
So Corinne Duplessis from News 24 asked, will the review also include a public consultation process, or does it just include the judge? And the second question is, the IEC is short of money. Does this review have any additional cost implications?
Chairperson?
Yes, thank you. I think the consultation, as we have indicated, it's still under the auspices of our PLC. However, we've left it open where necessary that the justice can invite key critical stakeholders to make any inputs for him to consider, including subject matter experts on the issue. We are mindful of that the process cannot be too open-ended, that it may not meet the timelines and the timeframes that we are faced with as a commission. So there would be that engagement, and there would be an opportunity for those particular inputs. On the other hand, in terms of the issue of the cost, yes, of course, there would be certain what you call costs associated with this exercise, but we should be able to absorb it within our contingencies in case, even if there was a disaster or any other thing. As an institution, we do create certain buffers and contingencies in that respect.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Does that complete questions online? If you can just give me a moment, please, Natasha. Do any of the commissioners want to say anything? Yes, fine, thank you. Bailey, you are going to take the last question from
I don't know if this was answered, but I had asked a bit earlier on if whether with the IEC taking this route that you're avoiding any legal implications should political parties say that the elections will not be. I don't know if this was covered.
Maybe let me answer it this way. We are fortifying the elections and our democracy. And this leaves a situation that we leave no stone unturned to make sure that what we carry out can withstand the scrutiny administratively, technically, legally, and otherwise.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Thank you very much, Justice Sanege. Members of the administration that I did not acknowledge when I started, please accept my apologies. We have most of the members of EXCO sitting here with us and other support staff. This job would be absolutely impossible to do without them, and thank you for being here. On that note, may I thank you, members of the media, for taking the time to come here. As you know, we are at that point in the election cycle when we'll be calling upon you much more often than we ever do to come and spread the message to the whole country. Ask those questions that you always ask, that always zero in on the concerns that the public might have. And on that note, I say thank you to you, and we will see you, shall I say, on the other side, maybe tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Well done.